Hey Worship Leader, welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you a feature of the new Helix 3.50 update that I feel like is sliding under the radar. Not a lot of people are talking about it. Well, maybe. I don't have time to sit around and watch all the videos, but anyways, I'm going to share it with you, and I'm also going to run through some of my other favorite features. Let's get into it. Number one is we can now disable snapshot control parameter adjustments. What does that mean, Jimmy? That's confusing. Let's hop on over to HXEdit and I will show you. Okay, so, look here. I have some of my new presets for the Expanse Pack. I updated it. I was actually on a live stream the other night and I said that I updated it, and I had, but I've actually updated it again. I've made some minor adjustments and also put in 2 more presets for you. So if you have updated it in the past day or 2, go re-update it. The way you'll know if you have the newest one, it'll say 2.5B. The other one I did the other night was just 2.5 update. Expanse 2.5B, then you know what you got. Anyways, a bunch of new stuff in there. Go check it out. Let me show you what I have done. Let's just go to a new preset real quick. To explain what snapshot bypass assign is, let's drop in a distortion. Let's get our Minotaur. Love the Minotaur. I want foot switch 1 to control this. I'm gonna right click, come down here to bypass assign, and foot switch 1. Let's see if it works. It works. Off, on. Nothing new here. If you right click again, you may notice this little check mark down here. This is snapshot bypass, and it's enabled because it's checked. What this means is as you go through snapshots, you can save the state of that effect as you want it. So I have snapshot 2, I may want that off. Snapshot 3, I also want that off. I'm gonna save it. When I go back to snapshot 1, it's gonna automatically come back on. Snapshot 2, it's gonna go right back off because that's how I saved it. And snapshot 3, it's gonna stay off because that's how I saved it. But what if you want this overdrive to act more like a natural stomp box, a pedal, where you may have a MIDI controller controlling a bunch of pedals on your pedal board, but your overdrive, you just want it to do what you tell it. Sometimes you may want it on, sometimes you may want it off, and you don't want like the MIDI controller to tell it what to do. You don't want snapshots telling it what to do. You can right click and disable this, like make sure that check mark is not there. Now, whatever state you left it in, it stays that way. So it's off. So as I scroll through all these snapshots, it'll remain off like that. If I turn it on, scroll through snapshots, look at that. 1, 2, 3. It stays on. That is snapshot bypass being disabled. You're able to control it with your foot, a foot switch, separate from snapshots. So now, not only can we do this with bypassing an effect, you can also, before this update, you could set parameters to adjust on a foot switch. So let's say we don't want this to be bypassed anymore. Let's take the bypass off. We want the gain to be on foot switch 1. And let's take this bypass and turn it to none. No, right here, turn it to none. So now foot switch 1 is going to up and down the gain of our amp. Boom. Boom, look at that, going up and down. You can set parameters to a foot switch, and you can set multiple parameters to a foot switch. Let's right click and do that one right there. I wish HXEdit would do what Podgo Edit does. They put these little arrows here so you don't have to go to this other menu. You can quickly drag and drop your min and max, but we can't right now. I have to go to tone, remember what my min and max was. I have to remember where it was. Anyways, it's kind of a step we don't really need. If I could just do it from right there, that'd be great. But anyways, so now this one foot switch is toggling both those parameters. But until now, you could set this foot switch to be on or off, but as soon as you switched snapshots, it would go right back off. You would have to save that parameter per snapshot. But sometimes I'm like, well, I don't know. In the moment, I may want that on. I don't want to have to switch snapshots and then go click it on or off. I just want the snapshot feature for that particular parameter to be disabled. You can do that now. So let's go back over here. You may have seen it. Snapshot control. You can turn it to off. And you got to do each parameter. Turn it off. Now, no matter what snapshot I'm on, whatever state I leave that in, it stays that way. That's awesome. Let me show you how I developed this on this preset right here. So this preset, the derailed and I have the single coil and humbucker versions, but I have 3 different snapshots: clean, boost, and drive. But on whatever snapshot I was on, I wanted to have 2 different effects. I wanted to be able to up and down like an ambient reverb and delay, and I also wanted to have a boost or an overdrive connected to a foot switch that I could turn off and on per snapshot independent of the snapshots. Man, I hope this isn't confusing. So on snapshot 1, I want to be able to up the drive. I also want to be able to up my ambience. If I go to Snapshot 2, they stayed on because Snapshot Control is disabled. This is very good. Thank you, Line 6. All right, number 2. We now have dual cabs, and if you read the release notes, they take up like way less DSP. From the 3.15 to the 3.5 updates, look how much DSP is being saved here. Shorter is better. Yes, they have saved us a lot of DSP, which means we can run more effects now. So what we have over here is the ability to run 2 different cabs. So in this preset right here, I'm able to run a microphone. And my favorite thing is you can move this around in real time. Look at me, I'm just sliding this around. Before, all we could do was just, adjust parameters with these sliders, but now, it's just like the experience of actually miking up an amp. How cool is that? Thank you so much, Line 6, thank you. And a little sub feature that is really cool is that back in the olden days, let me just show you. I did like a dual amp one right here. This little delay block in here, its only purpose was to bring in 19 milliseconds of delay on this double amp, double cab preset right here. So what it does is it just brings just a slight, 19 milliseconds of delay to separate the amps in your ears, and it kind of creates some stereo width. Well, now you don't have to waste a whole block to do that. It's actually built into, look at that. It's built into the parameters here, and you have that delay option on both of them, which is just really cool. All right, the next thing, let's go to a different preset down here. Not only do we have dual cabs and we have all that new stuff that we can move around, we also have the ability to have dual IRs. Yes, this is awesome because if you know anything about IRs, they sound really good. And I'm gonna give you some spoilers here. I'm gonna promote some other people because they deserve it. My favorite IR of all time. Well, I have 2 favorite IRs. The 2 best IRs that I've ever heard with my own ears and my rig that I've purchased that aren't mine are right here. Let's see. Boom. The first one here is a free one you can get from Michael W. Westbrook. I think it's still on the website. I downloaded this one sometime last year. It just sounds amazing. Maybe I should play some samples. And then the other one right here is, no, this one right here. The other one's my favorite. Well, this one's mine. This is my favorite. It's the Blues Junior one right here. Tone matched. It sounds amazing. But that's not the one. The Benson Chimera by David Hislop. So those are my 2 favorite IRs. If you don't have those IRs, I would suggest going to get them. They sound so good. They sound good even when like the drives are just driving into them. They just sound very natural. Those are my favorite. You're welcome. So anyways, back to the dual IR block. You go right here, you can choose single or double, which we're in the double right here, we got it. You can choose whatever IR you want, boom, boom. And you can adjust the different volumes, you can pan them if you want. I think it's really cool to mix them. But there's this other thing, you can switch the polarity, but if you go to this both, you have your mix like normal, but you also have this millisecond delay slider here, this parameter control. Well, what is that for? Well, if you know anything about IRs, they are a capture and you export it as a WAV file. So you have this little boop, and it's got a little WAV file. Well, sometimes you clip off the front, and sometimes the fronts don't exactly line up. And so when you're matching IRs together, some of them might not start at the same exact place. And so you can have this fine adjustment of milliseconds to make sure that those waveforms are right there together, and then it'll sound nice and full, and it won't sound phasey. You know, when they're out of phase, it just sounds weird. And this is not out of phase like that is normal or inverted. This is like just slightly out of phase, and so you can adjust that. That's awesome. This is the thing I wanted. If you remember a couple videos back when I was like, hey, I want to be able to put my delay down on this path and put a reverb up here, that's great. But if this block is a stereo effects loop that has my reverb on it on my pedal board, there's a little bit of latency, and I want to be able to adjust right here that same slider. So if they put it right here, if they put it there, they could put it right here. Same thing. The only thing is, I don't know if that would do it. This fine adjustment might need to be even more fine. I've had other people comment and say, hey, there is a way, because software does this all the time, where it shoots out a little blip, and it determines how much the latency is, and it corrects it, like auto corrects. That could happen. We could have that. But anyway, something like this is what I was suggesting. The only thing I would say that would help improve this is that if we could actually see the waveforms. I mean, they're in there, but like I'm trying to guess in here, and I was actually struggling to line up some of them. So anyways, but that's what that's for. Cool feature. Thank you, Line 6. All right, next, let's go to this preset up here. We have the new dynamic ambience. And I gotta be honest, I was like super excited, like, ooh, sweet, another ambient reverb. If that's what you're thinking it is, it's not really that, but it is. So I got depressed. I was like, I want an ambient reverb, but we have so many ambient reverbs. Why did I want another one? I don't know. Anyways, this is actually really nice. It's actually really nice. What it does is it creates space in a room. It's kind of like what I would use a room reverb for. So on some of my other, I don't know, my other presets that I really like, let's see, like maybe the new jazz. Yeah, right there. I always throw in a room reverb at the end just to create space, and then on top of that, then I'll put my ambient reverbs. So what this does is it feels really good. I don't know what to say. It just has this really good feeling. I used it on, I have a bass preset and an acoustic preset as well, and I use them with those two presets, and it sounds really natural, just creating a space, but doesn't sound too reverby. All right, before you go, let me know down in the comments, what is your favorite feature of the new update besides the whole snapshot parameter control being able to be disabled? Besides that whole thing, the dual cabs is just awesome. It's amazing. I think I'm gonna make another video dialing in the cabs and showing you how I do that, but I'll save that for another video. If you like this video, let me know, like it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.